Hello and welcome to another episode of FANUC Talk. This episode is all about CNC performance. Now, FANUC started the development of numeric control NC technology back in 1956. Since then, engineers have continuously ingrained new and innovative technologies into their products. Based on high-speed, high-accuracy servo technology, FANUC has realised CNC that maximise the performance of machine tools, such as improved productivity, high-speed, high-quality machining, and easy-to-use operability. Over the decades, FANUC has steadily increased its production capacity. In 2022, FANUC factories reached a new milestone, having produced an accumulated number of 5.2 million CNC and 25 million servo motors, would you believe? More than 60 years of experience in the field of servo technology have also led to an unrivaled energy efficiency of FANUC products. I'm Paul Jones, the CEO and founder of MTD CNC, and I have the pleasure of hosting this episode of FANUC Talk, where we will be covering and discussing the following topics. Firstly, there'll be an introduction to FANUC CNC with Head of Sales, Andrew Myhill. Secondly, we'll talk about outstanding machine performance with Bernard Lusch. Third on the agenda, ease of use and operation with Christiana Appelbaum and Martin Stockinger. Fourth, we'll once again talk to Bernard Lusch, but this time about improved productivity. And then finally, the ease of implementing automation, again with Christiana Appelbaum. Those are our 5 topics. Please, as always, feel free to contribute to this conversation, and you can do this by commenting on the channel. So I'm now with Andrew Myhill, who's the Head of Sales for FANUC CNC. Andrew, welcome to this episode of FANUC Talk. Now, let's learn about the recent investment that FANUC have made in their CNC products and technologies and what that means to your customers.
Okay, Paul, thank you. Yeah. First of all, FANUC have recently introduced the latest version of our CNCs. So we've got the 30IB Plus series and the 0IF Plus series. And in both of these new CNCs, we've improved the hardware, so improved the hardware performance of the CNCs, new software functions, and a lot of the features which were previously optional are now included as part of the standard package. We also, the 30IB series supports 5-axis machining, so we've got integrated software technologies, which we'll speak about later in there. We have also recently introduced the latest IHMI, which is the user interface here. So again, we will give a demonstration of the functions and features that it gives the operators.
All coming up later in this episode. Yeah. But what does this actually mean for your users, though, Andrew? What are they going to get? What's the benefits?
Well,
overall, we talk about all the things you talk
generally, about. Yeah. I mean, when we're designing the CNCs, we collect information from the market, what the user expect, and we want to make our controllers as easy as possible to operate, but still give outstanding machine performance. So that's the goal for us, yeah. Okay,
and all of those topics are coming up in this episode of FANUC Talk. Important, cost of ownership. What does this mean, and how does it affect FANUC's customers, and where do you think FANUC stand out in this area?
Without a doubt, FANUC, the most important factor when we design our products is reliability. So we put a lot of effort into making sure that our products are as reliable as possible. And an example of that is the 0i CNC range has a mean time between failure rate of 47 years. So obviously that means that's unmatched in the market. So the benefit of that is high reliability, increased productivity, and a return on investment, much quicker.
And what about if there's issues with controls? I mean, I mentioned in the opening to this episode that the first NC technologies were back in 1956. Yeah. There's millions of control systems out there. Yeah. Are they all still supported, and what happens in the event that there is issues?
Yeah, that's a good point, Paul, that you've raised there. So we have a policy where we support all of our products for as long as they're in use. So if, for example, a control is 40 years old and it's still in production, we have the capability, we have the spare parts to support those products. So it doesn't matter how old the products are. We don't say after 10 years, no, we don't support them. And I think this is unmatched in the market, you know.
It is incredible to be able to promote that. Then comes the intelligence then of the CNC and how that's advanced. I mean, it's 3, 4, 5 axis. Perhaps you could walk us through how good it actually is.
Yeah, sure. The first thing I'd say is that the FANUC CNC doesn't just support milling and turning applications or technologies. We have a wide range of applications that we use our products in, such as laser, plasma, woodworking, water jet, stone, marble cutting. So we support all applications. In addition, we also have a specific CNC called the Power Motion, which covers a wide range of motion control technologies. So as far as milling, you know, we support 3, 4, 5-axis milling applications, 3+2 machining, and full 5-axis simultaneous machining applications.
And where is the demand for these now, Andrew? Is it increasing in any particular area? Are you having to put more energy into certain areas? 3-axis, 4-axis, 5-axis, all of them. Is there a split or a balance? Yeah,
well, I mean, we've worked hard really to improve our 5-axis functions in the controller. As I mentioned earlier, we've got 5-axis integrated technology with a range of features to make the performance of the machine tool, the setup, operation, programming, all that much more easier. So we have fine surface technology, fast cycle time technology, high-speed tool center point control, so a wide range of applications that are there to help the operator easily
get
use
that
the machine.
Machining performance,
yes, exactly.
Which is what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
Okay.
Next up, we'll be talking to Bernard Lusch about outstanding machining performance. So, Bernard, welcome to FANUC Talk. Perhaps for the audience, you could tell us who you are and what your role is at FANUC.
My name is Bernard Lusch. I'm head of sales and especially responsible on the FA side for automotive and Tier 1 customers.
Okay, now we've heard about the technologies and the capabilities of the CNC from FANUC. And in this topic, we're going to be talking about outstanding machine performance. I think for the audience, it would be great to start with for you to explain what that actually means.
One of the main pillars of FANUC's development direction, of course, together with reliability and ease of use, has always been the improvement of machining performance. And the key element of machining performance is our outstanding servo technology, which enables a precise and rigid guidance of the moving axis of a machine tool. And out of this various functions that represent FANUC's outstanding technology, so first, our new CPU in the 30 IB Plus and 31 IB Plus series CNC. It enables higher processing speed by improved program algorithm and guarantees constant feed rates even when short segment programs are executed, for example, in 5-axis machining. And together with our integrated 5-axis technology, it enables shorter cycle times by even keeping or at least improving the surface quality of the workpieces.
Okay, so you talk about integrated 5-axis technology as well. You mentioned that there. What does that actually mean?
So at FANUC, we talk about our integrated 5-axis technology when we talk about a set of functions that fully support 5-axis machining, from the setup of the workpiece in the machine tool by using our integrated measurement cycles, up to useful software tools like G-code checker function or surface estimation functions. And both software tools make sure that the complete process, from generating the NC program in the CAD/CAM system up to the simulation of the machining and the generated surface, are optimized before any chip of the workpiece is machined. And this saves machining time, this saves cutting cost, this saves the cost for scrap material, and so fully support the reduction of the environmental impact.
Okay, now that's 5-axis, and of course everybody will know FANUC for much more beyond that, 3-axis, 4-axis, and all the technologies that you offer. Is the outstanding machine performance as important, and does it feature as much in, say, 3 and 4-axis?
Yes, there are many functions, as I already mentioned, not only for 5-axis machining, but for example, there is another function which is smart spindle load meter that gives the user of a machine tool, whether it's a turning lathe or milling machine, each time a clear understanding of the current load of the spindle, together with the speed, the spindle temperature, and the torque of the motor. And so each second he is aware of the spindle load, and he can make use the maximum of the spindle.
That's really interesting, because that would bring me on to another point about machine performance is really important to get improved surface finishes, quicker cycle times. And of course, everybody's talking at the moment about energy costs around the world. And I'm just wondering if there's a correlation between the outstanding machine performance and the reduction of costs. Is there any kind of partnership there?
Yes, there is. So as long as the machining performance gets higher and the workpieces can be executed in shorter cycle times, so the usage of the machine tool becomes less, and so the energy is less. So it's a clear combination of both.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Bernard. Okay, next up, we're going to be talking to Christiane Appelbaum about how easy this FANUC system is to use. Christiane, welcome to the FANUC Talk set. Now, firstly, how long have you been working for the company?
I've worked for FANUC for 8 years within our German FA sales team.
Okay, and what's your role, just out of curiosity?
I sell CNC controls to my customers.
Very well, I'm sure. Now, what I wanted to do is talk about the ease of operation, the ease of use, and how important that is for your customers.
FANUC CNCs are one of the most well-known controls in the world. Therefore, most machine tool operators will be familiar with the look and feel of our CNCs. FANUC is placing a great emphasis on compatibility, which means that FANUC users that have used part programs, for example, on older machines, we are winning those customers over because we're making sure that they can use their part programs also on the latest CNC generations.
Now, when I was talking to Bernard, we talked about outstanding machine performance. I'm curious as to the association between things like keeping cycle times shorter and the control system being easy to use. Do those two work together?
Really, it's 3 components that are really important. Ease of use, ease of operation, and fast cycle times to increase productivity and efficiency.
Okay, now, happy customers. This is what everybody wants and what you have in an abundance. Why is that so important to you? Can you maybe explain?
Long-term FANUC users are usually very happy and proud FANUC users. So it's a FANUC philosophy that we are making sure that those customers stay happy also with the latest product generations, meaning they know their way around to control and how it works. But we also have to make sure that the younger generations or new FANUC users find a quick and smart way of working with our CNC.
And this is really important because of the skills gap, isn't it? Being able to introduce people to systems like yours easily and get to grips with them quickly.
With rising factory automation in general, we see the challenges that our customers are facing with acquiring skilled labor. Therefore, FANUC has to make sure that our products are easy to use, that our IHMI has a nice overview, a good structure, and can be customized depending on which milling or turning or cycling machine they're working on.
Now, you mentioned automation, and I don't want to go into too much detail because coming up in this episode of FANUC Talk, I'm going to talk to Christiane about the implementation of automation and how easy it is. But on this perspective, the control and automation, they work together easily?
Yes, FANUC has a large number of set and functions that we'll discuss later that make working with our products really easily. Even going up to IoT products and connecting those and working with data and making your factory smart.
Okay, that's coming up later. But as for now, thank you very much, Christiane. Next up, Martin is going to walk me through some of the functions on the control. So it was great, Martin, to hear there from Christiana about the operator use, the ease of it. You're going to show us it in action, so I'm very excited about what we're going to see shortly. Before we actually do that, can you just introduce yourself to the audience?
My name is Martin Stockinger. I am team leader for product management for CNC at FANUC Europe.
Okay, just walk us through then the home screen here, what we have, before we actually start using the control.
Yeah. So I would like to introduce you HMI. HMI is FANUC's new user-friendly and intuitive user interface with touchscreen operation. So the idea behind HMI, the home screen of HMI, comes from the continuous improvement. You may know the PDCA cycle, plan, do, check, act. And we've taken this idea and used it also for the home screen of HMI. So first we have the planning section, then the machining section, an improvement section, and a section for utilities.
Okay, do you want to just pick out quickly a couple of the points on each of those sections?
Yeah. So in the planning area, we have, for instance, the tool manager. The tool manager lets you manage tool data. So you can, for instance, download tool data from tool manufacturer and integrate it into the database, and also manage the tool live data there.
Okay, and then the machining one, we're going to see a lot of this in a minute, or a few bits on this in a minute.
Yes, right. We have a new NC operation screen with the included G-code guidance that we will see in a minute. And this new operation screen also has features like PC-like operation that lets you easily manage your part programs.
Okay, and then the improvement.
And then on the improvement section, we have applications like Data Logger and Servo Viewer. These apps let you collect data from the CNC and from the servo system, and then you can use this data later on to improve part programs and improve the productivity. And this data can also be uploaded to MT-Link-I. And then we have also the power consumption monitor that lets you easily monitor the efficiency of the machine.
Okay, I can't wait. I want to see some of the things that you're going to show us. What are you going to show us first?
So let's go into the NC operation and see G-code guidance. So as you know, when you program a machine using our cycles, those cycles have many arguments that you need to memorize. And G-code guidance simplifies this very much. So here, for instance, we have a cycle in this part program. And now, in G-code guidance, everything is explained. For every argument in this cycle, we have an image that explains the meaning of this argument. And so when you program, you can easily go through all the arguments in this cycle, and you exactly know what does this argument mean. You do not need to memorize it. You do not need any references or manuals for this.
It looks really, really simple and intuitive.
Yeah, and it's also very easy to find the cycles that you want to program. So we have here in this tree structure a list of all the cycles that are available on the CNC.
Okay, and what are you going to show us next?
Okay, the next thing is I would like to show is the import of CAD data. So here in this example, I can import a CAD file into the CNC and then use this data to program the cycle. So here in this example, in the first point, I would need to set an origin. After that, I would just need to set the machining plane here. This is X and Y in our example. And then I can easily zoom in and out and select the whole contour that I want to machine. In this example, we have two contours. One is this one, and here's the second one. And then after that, I just need to parameterize the cycle, and then all this data is transferred automatically into my part program.
Okay, so the program is written?
Yes, the program is written automatically.
Okay, really, really easy. Okay, what's next?
Okay, the next point, after you've done the programming, you of course want to know if you did it correctly. So with HMI, you can do a simulation of the part program. And then in this example, you can see that that we have programmed the part correctly.
So incredibly simple. Thank you very much, Martin. So there you've seen how easy it is to operate FANUC systems. Now, of course, operating is one thing, but you need to get those productivity gains. And I'm now going to talk to Bernard about not just productivity gains, but also digital twin. So Bernard, we spoke about outstanding machine performance. And of course, a lot of what we've discussed in this FANUC talk is about improved productivity. Alongside that, this discussion is about the digital twin. Can you explain what it is and how it works, please?
FANUC's digital twin concept supports, on one side, the machine tool builder, and on the other side, the machine tool user. On the machine tool builder side, the software developers are able to develop their software for the machine application, for example, PMC programs, HMI screens, ANSI programs, and macro programs, and are able to test all that environment with the software CNC Guide 2 without having a real CNC machine available. And this make sure that the processes, for example, the installation of the machine tool, can be done partly in parallel to the software development. And so there is much faster time to market possible on a new prototype of machine.
Okay, so what I'm thinking here then is a machine tool builder that's trying to solve a manufacturing problem for a customer will need to build a solution. And what we're saying is you can almost build this solution virtually before actually doing it in the real world, which of course saves an inordinate amount of time and money.
Yes, of course. Also the simulation of the workpiece, the simulation of the tools, the simulation of clamping and fixtures can be simulated, and even so it is possible that even collisions, for example, during the movements can be avoided, and this saves much time because it's done virtually on the PC and not on the real machine.
And that's kind of for the machine tool user as well, isn't it then? So the machine tool user can take a component and be assured that those collisions and those accidents aren't going to happen when they actually come to do it, which again can save so much money.
Yes, of course. So he knows before the machining process how long does it take to machine this part, what are the estimated cost for the tools, and.
Which would enable him to quote for work as well without actually doing it.
Of course.
And we talked, and we do talk a lot about automation because that's part of productivity gains. How does the digital twin work in conjunction with automation? Integrate.
So, in combination of the software tools, CNC Guide 2, together with RoboGuide, which is a simulation software on the robot side, it's possible to simulate complete machining cells, having the CNC machine on one side and the robot cell on the other side. And even the automatic generation of the program for load and unloading of the part for the robot is done automatically with the simulation software.
So with this, is there or could you give our audience a working example of where this digital twin is kind of actually already in existence and in operation?
So in meantime, I would say in the development departments of the machine tool builders, this kind of simulation is widely used and state of the art because they really have a lot of benefits, and the cost for the software licenses are far lower than the savings of the development cost.
Incredible. Mind-blowing stuff, Bernard. Thank you very much. We talk about automation and productivity, and next up we're going to explore automation in more detail and how easy it is to implement with Christiana. So we're now on our last section of FANUC Talk. This is where we're going to talk about the ease of implementing automation. Christiana, you did a brilliant job when we spoke about the CNCs earlier. For now, automation is huge around the world, but how easy is it to implement, and how does FANUC make it easy specifically?
Sure. FANUC is an expert in factory automation. One function I'd like to highlight here is our QSSR, which is quick and simple startup of robotization. This makes working with a FANUC CNC and a robot really easy. We offer QSSR on-site, which is that you can use macro variables without the need to modify the existing machine tool program. So this is very cool for those people who have existing machines in the field and they want to automate at the later stage.
And how easy would that be to get to grips with and use, though? Is there any features within that that you could describe that make it simple?
The QSSR G-code allows the machine tool operator to program in its own language, in its known language, which is the standard ISO G-code programming. So the machine tool operator, if he's new to robots, he doesn't need to learn a robot programming language. So that's a great example. And also the robot can be easily set up and taught with the manual pulse generator, and our CNC hand wheel allows the robot to be driven in the Cartesian mode. So I think that's a personal highlight for me.
And what about return on investment and costs of implementing automation?
That's a very good question. So the ROI always depends on the complexity of the automation itself. We have tiny and smaller cells to very complex, larger productions that are completely automated. But I'd like to give you a few highlights which are really underlining our reliability and product quality. Our MTBF number, which is the mean time between failure for our 0ID and 0IF control series, is 47 years. And for our robot R2000 IB and IC generations, it's 41 years.
What does that actually mean, though? What does that acronym mean?
That means that this is the time that our products can run without any failure. Another point I'd like to highlight after the large MTBF number for our controls and robots is our lifetime maintenance for our products. That means as long as our customers are using FANUC products, we provide them with spare parts.
And what about one FANUC? How important is that?
I think one FANUC is one of our greatest advantages and strengths. Under our one FANUC roof, we have the FA business, the robot business, and the robot machine business. And together with our global service network, we can offer our customers solutions to any kind of automation they may be looking for.
And IoT, where does that come into it?
I think IoT is such a buzzword, but we need to be using it more, and maybe also don't be afraid of it. FANUC offers also a number of IoT products. One I'd like to highlight here is our MT-Link I, which is a PC-based software you can set up on a computer within your production, and we can analyze your production data, we can analyze your operating cost, we can prevent any downtimes, we can even set up automatic backups, which is one thing that many customers don't do. So I really want to highlight the automatic backups, creating reports. So MT-Link I is a really easy and affordable tool for our end users to be used and applied at any time.
So lots of ways to justify that return on investment. Automation is about continual running. Is there a way that someone can crunch numbers with FANUC to be able to establish what that return would be?
FANUC is currently working on an ROI calculator, so that's something I'd like to give a hint for. So very soon we will offer our customers a tool where we can give you a precise number of what you're asking for. Right now we can just keep in mind with our super reliable product, our global service networks, we are trying to keep the cost for our customers as low as possible and have our products run in their factories and production site for as long as possible.
And in general, I mean, how important is automation for FANUC, Christiana?
We see such a rising demand and need for automation from our customers. Most machines are now sold. When we sell a CNC to our machine tool builders, they will also ask for a robot to equip their machines with automated cells. So we definitely see a continuous demand for that. And in general, the biggest benefit of thinking about automating your production is you can run them through weekends, through nights, and in the dark. We've done so for decades in Japan in our own production.
And what about the quality? Is this a big part as well? Is that a factor, the quality of the end product?
If you automate a process, you think about it. So you can look at data, you can look at how well did we do during certain shifts, and then you analyze that data and assure consistent quality during a very long production cycle or process. So I think automation gives you so many benefits and so many things to really improve your overall operating costs and
the quality of
keep
the
those
part.
down. Yeah.
And give us an example of what FANUC have done themselves in Japan to prove, automation is good and you can continually improve what you're doing.
In our own FANUC servo amplifier process, we recently reduced the number of 15 industrial yellow robots and replaced them with 1 worker and 5 collaborative robots. And with that, we were able to halve the capital investment and to reduce the overall needed space to 1/3 of the original size. And I think that's an incredible example of how we can look at existing manufacturing and tasks and jobs and think about how could we automate this process using robots, using collaborative robots, and make our production itself smarter.
You're practicing what you preach, which is clear in that story. Good stuff. So automation isn't only easy to use, it's very, very effective. Thank you very much, Christiana. There you have it. Wow, what an episode. We covered so much, from the investment that FANUC make in their CNC products to how they achieve their outstanding machine performance. We also looked at the ease of automation, digital twin technology, and finally discussing with Christiana the importance of automation. Now, please feel free to ask FANUC questions and comment on this episode, and also tell us what you would like FANUC to cover in future episodes. Finally, for more information on all topics discussed, please download the FANUC CNC Handbook, which is on the link below. It's an awesome download. It's interactive and contains so much information about the benefits of FANUC CNC products and their functionalities. Lastly, thanks for watching and see you next time.